What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today I wasn't actually going to make this video today, to be honest, but with this character winning 4 of the nationals already, and he's probably going to win the last one, I want to revisit Ultra Instinct Goku 2 more times. So first, I'm going to review some UI Goku counterplay, especially since the last video I made on him. There were a couple things I excluded that I think are actually pretty important and are points that people don't really talk about. Before I get into all that, you guys better not just watch this video, but share it with your friends, share it everywhere, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty annoyed with how people talk about this character. So again, this is UI counterplay. The video. This is the last video I'll make on UI counterplay for a very, very long time. And if you want more counterplay videos, guides, whatever, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you already have not. It does really help the channel grow. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm going to hop right into it. So I consider myself to be a social media master. So I wrote down a list of all the things I see people complain about UI Goku all the time, and we'll go through them one step at a time.
Oh my god, UI Goku is unstoppable. He's so good. His 2H is broken. His jab is broken.
So first, his jab. So one, his jab's not normal. So the average jab is 6 frames. His is slightly slower. His is 7 frames. So normally in this game, when characters have 7-frame jabs, either they have some other thing that's really good or they make the jab really huge. UI Goku is the latter. His jab is huge. So the main thing we remember about his jab is that his auto combo, even though it travels really far, it doesn't beat reflect. So in this example here, his LL will never ever ever reach you unless you press a button. Now, the second hit of his auto combo goes over lows, so if I do this, he's going to hit me, and the game lets you know, too, that the second hit of his auto combo beats lows. So what we do is 2 things. 1, if he's whiffing auto combo, we punish it with super dash, like everyone else's auto combo. And 2, if we reflect it, we don't press a low. No matter what, resist urge to press a 2M. Instead, we press either 5M or we press the kill button, whatever thing that you want to do to punish it, do it. In Gotenks case, I like using hands because they're dead. Everyone has something they could do. Try to use 5M if you want. Next up, we gotta worry about is 2H. His 2H is really similar to like a Bardock style 236M, so it goes up and at a really good angle to deal with jumping. We all know that people really hate shit that stops jumping, so UI Goku having this tool definitely bothers people. So what do we do? First, you have to start with the usual. This move has a ton of recovery on whiff, so if they ever whiff the move, we punish it on whiff. What do we use? We can use things like super dash. We could just run up and do normals. You could do whatever you want if he whiffs it. So if he calls an assist though and you block it, well, it's his turn pretty much. You went into the range of that move, he called an assist, cool. We take that L, cool, we're blocking, that's fine. Now, the thing is though, he has air options. So you might want to think about what do you do if you block it and he doesn't have an assist? So you have a few normal responses, like you could just choose to dash. They call this the dash option select. So here what we're trying to do is dash so that we chase his air backdash. If he lands, then we get to take our turn, and then if they super dash anyway, which a lot of people do, then we can react to it and punish. Just like this. Some characters are privileged and they could do moves that beat everything mostly. So I would encourage you to go back and look with your character to see if you have a special response. Next, let's talk about his DP. So the first thing to know is that he can't delay cancel this. So what I mean is after a certain amount of time, he can't cancel the DP into anything. So whatever he tries to do, he has to do it right away. This is very important to remember. So I have it split into 3 core options he could do. I have this into vanish, this into nothing, and this into the counter super. So we have a couple of ways we could deal with this. One is we could do the before mentioned dash block. So if they vanish, your dash won't come out, so you react to that with 2H. Now another thing you could do is Dragon Rush, actually. So we can see here that this is minus 31, so it's very punishable, and I have the opponent set to tech Dragon Rushes. So in this case, still punish. And then your Dragon Rush will not come out if they vanish, so we 2H, same thing. Now the only thing I did not mention was that he could do this. But of course he only gets one of those a game. And for that, I would just treat it like the rest of the characters who have it. Like Team Gohan, Adult Gohan. Like, yeah, they did it. Okay, now they're 0 and now they're in Sparking. And just do your best to not die to the character in Sparking. So the counter super is frame 1 reversal. But the main thing you're aiming for here is to hit it with a projectile if possible. So here's an example. So because I hit him with a projectile, he teleported to me, but I was able to crouch under it and punish him. So when you're making setups against him, and to be fair, not all characters are good at this, if you can attack him from a decently safe distance with a projectile of some sort, that's the best way of keeping him down. Not all characters are good against this. This you kind of have to acknowledge. And depending on what character you play, you'll be able to completely pin him down, or you might have a lot of problems. To the point where I might recommend learning a 4th character to play against him if you already have not. Defensive characters like this, they're usually pretty polarizing. It depends on what the opponent's tools are. Now, of course, that was just an example. I'm going to go into more detail a little bit later in this video about what types of characters are more effective against UI Goku's various options. So next, I'm going to talk about the Dragon Rush reversal, aka Unrestrained Will. So this is like his special wake up that only he has. If you haven't seen it, it's this. It's a tackle he can do from basically any tech. It's not that fast and it's pretty unsafe, but it has the same properties as his Dragon Punch. And what I mean is he can special cancel it, super cancel it, and he can't delay his options very much. Shoutouts to Rin Senpai, because this is where I learned this from, is that there's a way to make the CPU do the follow-up options. It's a little bit annoying to set up, but I'll try to explain it as quickly as possible. So if we go to the character settings, we see Unrestrained Will. That's the name of the move, so we turn that on. So for whatever reason, the game treats this as a state. So if we record him doing like a follow-up super, so I actually already did it. So if we go into the training dummy settings here, record him doing a super, I'm just gonna mash. And then we go to enemy settings, play recording. When I knock him down, he should automatically do the tackle and then cancel it like that. Now, as I mentioned before, it is the same as his DP option-wise. So if you just want an easy way to practice against the options, you can just set up a recording where he does Dragon Punch. But it's really nice for like setups. Like if you're trying to like knock someone down and test to see if a setup works, to have this as a response, which is nice. Where do we begin with this reversal? So first, you can anti-air it with 2H. For the people who play online though, that's pretty hard to do. I'm there with you as well. It is pretty hard to do that on PSN. Another thing you can do is go under it with 2L. Besides that, we treat this move similarly to the DP. I have a similar recording where we knock him down and we dash after. Just remember to focus on the vanish as usual. So let's talk about his 4-frame neck. First, if you don't know what a 4-frame is, this is kind of some jargon that we use in the Dragon Ball community. So one thing that is really common in this game is that they give characters reversals that don't hit immediately or don't get their special property immediately. They activate on frame 4, the 4th frame. So not right away, just a little bit delayed. They do this on purpose so you can't use these moves whenever, so there's like technically a way to beat it, but if you are waiting or whatever, they can kind of bust out these moves. A lot of these moves are safe on block or they have like some type of special thing. So UI Goku's thing is this. So as we know, he has that and he has air options, so he could do the air one, he can like air backdash. He has a bunch of options when he does it, and because it's not invincible frame 1, you can call an assist after it. So for starters, where do we look for the 4th frame? This is where we must begin. 4 frames are really common after a couple situations in the game. You could use them after vanish. Vanish, as we know, is +2. This is a 4-frame reversal, so you have time to do it. You can also do it after a block overhead. because we're playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, he can vary his reversal timing. It's kind of hard to see when people get up, and it is a 4-frame reversal, so you can use it there. And finally, if you try to stagger, you can use it there. First, let's start with what should you do if you know it's coming after overhead or after, say, vanish. So one, does your character have something they can do about it? So for instance, if you've seen me play Nationals, you've definitely seen me do this to people. Gotenks as well has a really good answer to it, where he could use his Beyblade, the medium version of his Beyblade, to go over it. Your goal is generally going to be to go over it. Unfortunately, we cannot backdash it, so we have to try to go over it. If you're blessed enough to play Goku Black, you could just jab and you'll recover in time, and you could actually punish him for doing this. SSJ Vegeta is another character that could do the same thing. What do you do with other characters? I recommend neutral jumping. Why jump or super jump? Because he can't actually catch you. The only thing he can actually catch you blocking with is jab. So this helps put the guess a little bit more in your favor. Our goal is basically to not block the 4-frame. So what do we do if we block it? So to be honest, his options are pretty limited when you block that move. All you can do is either straight up nothing, air backdash, or he can do it again if he has an extra half bar. This might sound familiar, but the best thing you could do is dash. If you dash and he does 2, it just whiffs, as you saw. You have all day to punish. If he peels off, there's still landing recovery. If he does nothing, it's your turn for sure. Another thing to remember too is that on knockdown, it's not a frame 1 invincible move. Really, you could really hit this with just about anything. He's set to do the 4-frame as a reversal, so you can hit him out of it. So before I go into the last part of this video, there's a couple of neutral things I still want to touch on, and one thing about his offense I want to touch on. I want to talk about what characters do well against UI Goku. So most people are here complaining, I mean honestly bitching, about his defense. Defensive characters and characters with extra defensive options are always pretty polarizing in Arc Sys games. I've dealt with this a bunch, and as usual, there's some characters that do better against the options they have than other characters. So I think it's pretty undeniable that UI Goku's like a top tier character, but you can definitely build something for playing against him, especially since he's so common. So the main reason I really feel like so many people are using him is a combination of Kid Buu players who used to play Kid Buu Adult Gohan need a new DP. UI fulfills this role very easily, and he works well with a lot of combinations of characters. Plus, he also has the DP assist that's really good, so it's the first time that, at least here in the US, we've been exposed to such a strong defensive assist. Our friends in EU have been playing defensively, using defensive assists for a long time now, so they're already used to this. So, who do I think is good against UI? It's characters who have good options against his various reversals. So the real standouts, in my opinion, are characters like Gotenks, Piccolo, Beerus, Majin Buu, 18, Ginyu, Base Vegeta, maybe Janemba, etc. Any character that can get plus frames without them having to directly attack you do a really good job of pinning UI Goku down. From Piccolo's Orb to Base Vegeta's J1S to Ki Blast to Ghost Oki to Beerus Orbs. All these moves create plus frames independently of the character, so you deal with all the 4-frame options right away because he can't do them, and then out of those options he has, his 1-frame options aren't that great. So I have Piccolo A assist to kind of show this off in an easy way. So here we have him doing DP. Obviously I do not care because I have the Piccolo assist there. Here, that's him trying the 4-frame. Because he hit a projectile, right, I was able to 2H it. And then there's a tackle. So characters that have this type of option coverage, either with the assist, of course Piccolo can do it on his own. I could use Ghost with Gotenks, again the Ki Blast with Base Vegeta. There are a lot of ways to build set up so that you can kind of pin him down so he can't use these options against you. So last, a couple of loose ends. So his 5S, which jails into Vanish. This move doesn't beat Ki Blast. If he fires it and you fire multi-Ki Blast, you can shoot through it. So the main real issue besides it jailing into Vanish is that it is the absolute fastest speed I've seen for this type of move in the game. It's 21 frames. Jiren's 5S is also like this. As for his 2S jailing into 5S, jailing into Vanish, which is obviously a really good tool, the main issue he has here is that this move is really hard to hit confirm because it's only one hit no matter what. So keep in mind that maybe jumping and not blocking when he's trying to use 2S might not be such a bad idea. And finally, the thing that I think people don't talk about enough is his solo pressure, his solo offense. So I'm specifically talking about this stance move that he has. So most people think it's a meme move kind of because he can go through projectiles. It actually enables his solo offense quite a bit. I think of it like an actual Arc System Works stance where it's like, you gotta do something about that when he does that. So what does he have specifically? He's got the L version where he does a follow-up. He's got the M version where he does a command grab. He's got the EX version, which we're all familiar with, which is the flip. And he's got the S version, which is a cross-up beam, but it's -5. So there's a lot to parse here. So for instance, you can actually hit this move with 2H. But if he does flip, you're kind of smoked. He has both command grab and the beam to try to encourage ways to like hit you. So the beam is a cross up. It's not especially fast, but it's hard, especially when you have to consider that he has flip and the L version where he just gets his plus frames. So where we begin with this move is actually that only the M version will go over you. The L version always stays in front. The UI Goku player has to space themselves basically to make the M flip not go over you. So when you see them do strings into like 6S, that is the main way they will not cross you up. Now at a baseline, the best way to deal with this is to fuzzy jump or delay jump, in my opinion. So using the core two options that people use, you'll just get out of the command grab, and then if he chooses to go for the plus frames, you have to block, he's +9, but you're not getting hit, so it's fine. All that matters is not getting hit. This character does do a lot of damage and builds a bunch of meter, so not getting hit is good. When you add in the other core options though, it gets pretty tough to keep on picking like delay jumps. So my main advice would be to still pick delay jump, but occasionally just aim for one of the options and try to counter them really hard. But he has ways of hard calling some of your timings or like what you might like to do. So just keep in mind that you can use the delay jump as a baseline, but once you get a read on what they like to do, then you can pick hard against each option. So primarily, if you read this, you can go for 2H for a big return, or you can pick reflect. For the command grab, of course, jumping is the best option. Delay jump is already what we're doing, so you will be able to escape this fine. So for the 4-frame option, we try to pick reflect. Reflect is -17, so you have to check whether or not your character can punish him in time or not. We cannot actually hit this with basically anything, so reflect is our main option. And finally, the beam, so we can hit him out of this multiple ways. Another thing that we have to remember too is that he can actually not just do 214H, but he can put the flash on his other moves. But you can still hit him out of this, it's just something that's visually tricky. So that's all I wanted to cover. I know that was a lot. This is, again, the last video I'll make on counterplay for UI Goku. It's the last one. There's another video I want to make about him, but it's about like the character himself, not about like how to play against him. There are already a couple other anti-UI videos on this channel, but this is definitely the most complete one that I've made. It's not even absolutely everything about fighting the character. I just wanted to address things that people complain about a lot, and one thing that people don't talk a lot about that is strong, which is the stance. Honestly, if you guys don't share this video a lot, and this video doesn't have like 100k views, I don't know what to say. You guys are just bitching. He's not that crazy. I wouldn't just say he's not that crazy if I didn't feel that way. There have been some really crazy super characters in this game. I get why people are mad about him, but like, I think he's really not that bad. I wouldn't say that if I didn't think he wasn't such a big deal. You know what I mean? I just feel like the discourse on his character is really crazy because since everyone's playing him, like everyone's complaining about him a lot. I don't know. I have a lot more thoughts about that, but that is not for this video. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. I know I already said it, but that's how I like ending my videos, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.